Okay, so here we are on Saturday, October 10th, and went to the flea market today, and this is what I picked up. It's a 1946 Philco Model 200, and it's got a plastic case. This is not Bakelite, this is plastic, which after World War II was pretty much what they started using when the war was over. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can refurbish this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean it up. I mean, as you can see, it's pretty dusty. It looks like it's got 74 years worth of dust. And we're going to check out the power cord before we do anything else. So we've got a really brittle old cord. I don't feel comfortable in plugging that in. Even if I wrapped it with a lot of tape, I wouldn't feel comfortable with this. So we're going to change the cord first before we do anything else. So we flip the chassis over, and that'll tell us what it is. So we can see that it's a model 46200, and that's a dash 122. That tells you what style chassis, because they didn't always use the same chassis in all these models. So when you're looking at a schematic, you got to make sure that you got the right model number for the chassis. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart, and there appears to be two screws holding the chassis in on the back, and we're going to take that apart. Okay, now that we've taken the screws out of the bottom, we got to turn it around front, and we got to take the knobs off. And the good thing is this thing does turn, so the string is good. It does have a click, means the on and off button is good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slide these off. And these should pop right off, but they've been on there for a while. So once you remove the knobs, you can just slide this right out. As you can see, it's really dirty inside there. So we're going to dust all this off, clean it off. Here's the power cord. So we're going to go ahead and change that out. And this thing has never been touched. This is all original. You can see the old capacitors. These are the old wax and paper capacitors here. And we'll see how it works first before we decide to replace those. And I don't see any that are exploded. So it might be in working condition. It might not be the best it can be, but we can change that some other time. But we're going to change the power cord now. So here we are. And what we got to do is we got to dust this off, and we're going to take all the bulbs out and clean each and every one of them. We're start an old radio up that's been doing that, been sitting for a while, so we're going to clean all that out. It looks pretty good though, but we just did the temporary on the bottom for right now. Just did the temporary splicing in there. We'll replace it all, solder it in. Well, first we're going to find out if the capacitors need to be done. I don't want to break these little cords up here. This goes to the antenna coil that's inside, but we got to clean all this up first before we start it up. Okay, so we cleaned everything up a little bit. Didn't do a great job cleaning it up, just dusted it out. We cleaned off all the tubes, made sure that all the wiring was good. Put the antenna up there, put a little piece of tape up there to hold the antenna cords. This little wire right here that runs around the outside, that's the antenna loop. So, okay, so we're going to turn it around. We've got the chassis mounted, screwed back in. Eventually we'll have to replace, if it's worth doing, if it starts up, we'll replace this. This is discolored. There's a company that makes these for these old radios. They're cost about 20 bucks. So we're going to plug it in and give it a try. Okay, it's plugged in, and we always start it off we don't turn it up right away. It takes a minute because it's got to warm up. Oh, we got something. We got a hum. That means there's a leaky capacitor, but oh, wait a minute, here we go.
get those, especially the moss traps that they have, but those are mainly used just for identification purposes.
So there it
Pest
goes.
control companies, if
It's
they don't know
working.
what kind of moth they're dealing with.
Scan the dial.
N90 and FM 101.5. Let's go behind the numbers with Joe Miller, presented by Leidos on the Navy Radio Network.
Time to go behind the numbers here, Joe. Normally this time of the year.
And what you replace it with is healthy intimacy with other guys. This is what makes all
And the hottest shows and movies. Start your free trial today so you don't. I'm going to get like we're carrying the free. Look, distribution is.
For personalized assistance in finding the choicest cuts of coverage for all your insurance needs, which means more money for filet mignon, or if you're a vegetarian, tofu lay
Okay,
mignon.
so there it
Find
is.
a Geico agent near you. Visit
$8 radio. And for about another 25 hours, it can be taken right back to new. Get rid of that hum sound, replace those leaky capacitors in the bottom. About 2 hours worth of work, and you'll have yourself a $150 radio.